In this video, we'll be looking at the high-resolution 3D seabed charts produced by Seafield Navigation for the TurboWind software family, and we'll be looking at the folios covering the areas of Tweed to Flamborough on the right-hand image here. So we'll go from Flamborough Head up the River Tweed, and then we'll carry on from Tweed up the coast to Aberdeen. So let's switch off these areas to tidy up the image a little bit, then we'll zoom in. So we can see the seabed image starting to appear on the left hand screen. We've got contours on the right hand screen and the left hand screen, so that allows us to decide what areas are best to fish in given the current conditions. So down off Flamborough Head, just north of that, you've got Filey Brig here, this spit of land coming out into the sea. Very interesting because the brig carries out under the water as a spur of sand, gravel further out past Flamborough Head to the south here. And we'll just zoom into the spur. And we'll come in here. We're working in meters in this video. So 50 meters water depth here, rising to 48. The spur is starting to shallow out. And if we zoom out on the 3D image, we'll be able to see how it's behaving. It's coming out here. There's a cut through it here. And to the south of this cut, we can see depressions in the seabed. Whatever's causing those, we carry on along the spur. You can see the features of it. We've got double and triple ridges. If we zoom out a little bit, the scale on these images is 1 to 5,000, just under 1400 meters to the screen, north to south. We'll take a look at this feature a little bit to the north. This is a chunk of seabed called the Sugar Lump. That's the shape of it. A shallowing bank with a steep cliff face on the north edge. And we have the typical steep, tight contours in the right hand image indicating a steep edge. If we put a color wash on top of the 2D image, you can see the easy contrast between the 55 meter deep and the 48 meter shallow at the top of the ridge. At the end of this video, you'll find a list of outlets where the TurboWind family software and these charts can be procured. There's software to work from the smallest of boats, 8 or 9 metre boats, up to the big pelagic trawlers. There's something for everybody. They can all use these 3D charts. So as we go north from the sugar lump, we can see these ridges on the seabed jumping out at you very clearly in the 2D image here in the pale blue against the darker blue background. So the ridges are shallowing out to 52 metres, dropping to 54 metres, so they're only 1 fathom high, but that's all you need to give you the start of a food chain for the critters living on the seabed. And again you'll see sweeping ridges starting to appear. So they're on in families all the way north. We'll come in against the coast off Scarborough here. We've added some new seabed data here recently. So as we zoom in hard against the coast here, we're into the surf zone. We're in under 20 metres of water. And we can see the spurs coming out from the coast. These are 1 metre contours. Along that edge there, keep on moving north. We'll find features poking out into the sea that are not on the navigation charts. Here we are, for example, we've got these, we're at a scale of 1 to 2,500, which is about 600 metres to the screen. And again, these isolated rock outcrops on the seabed can be clearly seen. On both the 2D and 3D images. We'll keep on going north. Quite a flat section of seabed here, 21-22 metres. Ostensibly flat, but if you look here, just off the bottom corner, you can see on the 3D image these swirls on the seabed yet again. Very shallow, from 13.7 metres down to 15 metres. Not quite a fathom deep, but again, enough to start a food chain. We'll carry on further out and we'll see more of these ridges on the seabed. And if we zoom out a little piece, we will see them starting to form circular swirls. Carry on a little bit north. these swirl features in the seabed here. And again, the lines of rock in parallel with the coast. "23 metres of water. With very clear rock lines running parallel to the coast. So again, if you're wanting to shoot your gear along one of these ridges at, say, 22 to 23 metres, we'll pick that out. So you can see all the ridges quite clearly presented there. You can choose which one you want to work along. We'll go further out past the 12-mile limit. Again, basins in the seabed. We're coming up past the Tyne here, into an area called the Graveyard. So you can see the ridges in the seabed, sand and gravel ridges running parallel to the coast. We're carrying up past the Farne Islands, come up to off St Abb's Head. I think this is an area called the Kirkhard, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Kirkhard. So we're at a scale here of 1 to 7,500, just about a mile to the screen. 54 metres deep, shallowing to 47 metres. So we can see this spur of rock running out with triple crests on it, deep scour marks to the south where this channel bursts through the reef. We'll go further out the Kirkhard. You can trawl through this channel here. It's about a half-mile wide, but careful, you've got a peak here. Extremely tight ISO lines on it. We're at a 400 meter scale here. It's 1 to 1,500. We'll take a look at this peak and you can see the very tight ISO lines. We've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 or 60 meters fall on one side into a very deep scour on the north. So So that scour is 75 metres deep, the ridge is 45 metres deep, falling away again very gently, or much gentler, to about 65 metre deep before we rise to a second spur. And again, very tight isobars here, isolines, so we can see the shape of this feature on the seabed. Not something that you want to encounter when you're bottom trawling. But again, very clearly marked. So if you're tracking your trawl doors, for example with a notice system, which will track your doors for you behind the boat, you can bring your doors quite close to these peaks. We'll go further up the coast, past the Bell Rock, Isle of May. We're up off Montrose here now. We'll come outside the 12-mile limit. I think this is that area called the Scalp. Maybe not far enough north for that, maybe it's the Scalp. We'll just switch off this surface colouring here. We'll bring the navigation charts to the fore. So again, we can see these deep scours in the seabed here with very high ridges. And I think this is a seabed feature I'm pretty sure they call the Goatee. Again, 1 metre contours. That's the 6-mile limit you're seeing there in the red line on the 3D. Go further north. Here's the Scalp here. It was the Scalp, yeah. So you can see the features of the bank. You can see features that are well hidden. There's a deep basin here on the east side. Sorry, the west side of the Scalp, with a ridge running through the middle of it here to the north. And on the inside of that we can see lots of ridges of sand and gravel on the seabed. Again, a very workable area of seabed for bottom feeding shellfish. Another bank here, associated features, a wreck in the middle of it there, in the lower channel. We'll come in inside the 6 miles here. Up past Montrose, past Gordon towards Todd Head. Interesting seabed feature. We've got a single sounding 71 meters depth here, 51, 50, 55, 48 meters. But if you look at the shape of the seabed, you'll see it's a cloverleaf shape hole with very steep sides indeed. And these ridges out to the east side of it, and wrecks to the north and east of it. Again, if you're bottom trawling, you don't want to be falling into that hole if you've got very heavy gear. So again, we can see if you want to come right up to the edge of this, you can. You can trawl along the flat here before you start to fall off into the steep sides of the hole. So that's just a sample of the 3D charts that we have. At the end of the video, we'll have our list of outlets where these can be procured at.